Welcome everyone, it's Enrico Janko. I'm the Signal, and we're powered by the mighty Team Alliance. As usual, we're on the charts. Just continuing my analysis of this magic box, this gradient area. Probably hard to see it on this chart now, but remember we had our gradient area on magic box, and we've been just analyzing the behavior within this box because it contains 85% of the market at any given time, and we analyze what happens when it reaches the fringes around this box, how the market actually reacts. And we came to, I guess, a lot of conclusions of what can actually be done in the market by just using this simple box. What this box actually does, it usually cuts the market into zones, and these zones help just pinpoint the area of interest that we're looking at. All right, and within these zones, as the market moves, we know it creates these support and resistance zones, right? Through our study, we've actually found that these zones that most people call support and resistance, it's very difficult to find which ones are going to hold and which ones are not going to hold, right? So what we did was, from this magic box, we was able to find some clues onto which boundaries and zones would be stronger than others. All right, and this magic box right here encompasses and follows all of the market. You know, as the market moves, this box will move also, and the reaction of the market from inside this box helps us forecast and determine what we believe prices will do. All right? In our Nadex account, everything is pretty swell. Everything runs kind of as usual with our Nadex account. We're doing our one a day, and we just continually go one a day, and that's it. Very, very simple, right? We started actually anew, so we're about, we started this with $100, so however many days or trades this is, I have to look in the record really. But what we plan to do, we'll get back to our count. If you're missing any of these one-a-day trades, it's okay, because you'll eventually catch it, and the training that you get is going to provide you with the information you need to actually take any type of trade you want on any platform, right? So this is the main goal, is to get you understanding this magic box, understanding price action, and getting you independent to taking money out of any platform that you wish, right? So you can get comfortable with your trading, your style, and actually operate independently, right? You start off maybe needing a mentor, needing a trainer, needing a coach, and then the more you learn, you become independent. So just teaching you how to become that, how to do that profitably in the market. Presently, I'm looking at our magic box. You see, we increased the size of it this week because we're doing a little time compression analysis. So we're looking at this magic box over multiple time frames, and from these multiple time frames, we're interpreting which of our zones are stronger. And of course, once we know which zones are stronger, it helps us to ascertain which is the dominant party in the market, because we always want to be with the dominant party, or we at least want to be with the party that we feel more comfortable with when the trade is being initiated. All right. So this is how we're currently proceeding. All right. So you can always, if you're a monthly or a weekly subscriber, you're always going to get your one-a-day trades. We're using this time compression analysis to look to see how we can pinpoint even sharper trades on the 1 minute level, and even 30-second level and 15-second level. And the reason we're doing that is because we're looking at the BET Online platform, and we're looking at that simply because of the percentage that we can get from the platform and the minimum stake. So the fact is, if we can stake only $2 and take that $2 skillfully to 10, then we know we could take 20 to 100, right? And once we're able to do that, then we can, take our $100 out this platform, go into Nadex, and continue just building our account. And we started the account from maybe just $2 or whatever. Because I don't suggest, this is a betting site. I mean, they seem pretty good, but I try not to keep too much money in non-regulated sites, right? So I'll put more trust into my Nadex account and use that as my savings account for all the money that I create in these other little accounts that I might have, right? So I might have other little offshore binary accounts, but I'm not going to put lots of money in there, only about $20 or whatever the minimum is to start. If the minimum is $10, I'll put in the $10, and I'm going to work to make that, $100, right? And with this particular BET Online, we actually haven't reached our goal yet. We've been getting hit up, so we haven't been able to match our goal. We've been getting hit, so we have to be actually more disciplined and more patient to go in and to fine-tune this. So we're actually going to fine-tune this while we're working the market, while we're watching the market, while we're training. We're going to be fine-tuning what we're doing on the BET Online. And as I said, we do that only because of the high percentages and only because it's a $2 minimum bet. So you could practice things and ideas on here in a live account that you can't do in your Nadex account, all right? On our Nadex account and all of our accounts, we're going to get our spreadsheets up. Hopefully this evening I have some spreadsheets up, because we're going to have to be able to keep track of the different types of trades. And like Nadex, you only can have one Nadex account, so I can't keep track of stuff unless I have a spreadsheet to look at. That's the only way we can keep track of the different types of trades and which trade is profitable and which trades are not being profitable for us, because we want to see what works better, or what is more profitable in the market at what times. Because we know that with our magic box we can find high probability trades. We know that we can find them, and we know that we can find them almost any time frame, and we can do it off of any platform. But on any platform you have, it's certain ways that you get to a sweet spot in the platform, and at that sweet spot, that's where you can really take advantage of your skill, right? And until you find that, you're going to be kind of hit or miss on what you're doing, right? And I don't want to be hit or miss, so that's why I perfected what we do on Nadex, right? So we perfected that, so you can always feel free to jump in and and follow me with the trades that we take on Nadex, right? So the next goal is to find out where is the sweet spot with these binary options on BET, because you have to overcome a couple of different hurdles. One, your entry, since you're entering at market, right? Where do you enter? And then how long? So you have to get those in sync so you have the right timing, right? Because we can know everything that is going to happen because we study the behavior. We study the behavior of the market, so we know certain things should happen, right? Since we're studying the behavior, and we're going to assume some high probability events that should happen, right? But if we don't time any of that up with the platform that we're on, we're going to still lose miserably, right? So the best thing to do is practice and study, measure twice before you cut, right? Measure twice is what the carpenter says, right? So that's kind of important. It's kind of important. You want to do that, and you want to do it staking as least you can. You know, that's why we do the $2 bet. Of course, at Nadex, you know, you're going to lose a significant amount for most people. Most people don't want to lose $50. They don't want to lose $20 like that. But they will lose $20 if the reward is worth it to them. And if you don't understand the trading mentality and probability, you would think the reward that you're getting of 15% on, say, Nadex is a weak reward. But that's only because you don't understand. As you grow in trading and understanding how the probabilities work, you understand that's pretty good. And the fact that you have liquidity at so many strike prices is marvelous. It makes it an ATM if you know what you're doing and if you're skillful with it. Right? If you're skillful and have the, and when I say skillful, I'm also talking about having the discipline and patience not to do what you're not supposed to do. And not to do what you're not supposed to do is just be too active in the market without sitting down and properly studying what's going on first. Just really knowing what is happening. Because at every point, the object is to trap you, is to trap and herd in the most amount of money from the retail traders, right? They want to herd you in, kind of like what dolphins might do to fish. You ever watch dolphins hunt? They'll herd the fish in the center and cause like a commotion for the fish, get them all, you know, going round and round, and then just eat them. And that's kind of what the institutions do. So we want to be extra cautious and take all types of precautionary measures while we're trading. See, as we're looking at this particular market, we're seeing that it was currently a little incline, right? Little incline. So market reached the area, started rejecting prices, and possibly they will start buying up here. But the way I like to look at it is, if I'm looking at this box here, this box to me right now is kind of representing high prices up here and low prices, right? So if I want to buy anything, I want to buy at the low price. To me right now, this is the high price. It might continue to go higher. It might prove to be that this is not a very high price in the market. That could be the case. I don't know, right? No one knows until the time of the events, because we're on the retail trader side. We have no insider information. So we don't know any of that. But just from how we're looking at our magic box, right, we will want to wait for the market to come back down to these levels, right, to buy, or possibly even this level to buy, right? But between, what's that, 29 and 25, right, that 4-pip area, right? And even that might be sketchy, because the true buyers, the stronger buyers, might be all the way down here somewhere, right? All the way down here maybe, right? And the market will trick you all the way in making you think that it's going to be ready to buy up when even on its way down. So when it's on its way down, it's going to be tricking you to make you think that it's not going to continue on its way down. You understand? But all the way down here is where the strongest buyers would be. Now, whether it makes it all the way down here, it might not. But it will trick you as it's going down to make you think that it found the level of buyers that you should jump in and start buying. That's why it's imperative that you're reading this price action properly. All right? You'll see a lot of false highs. And when I say false highs, it'd be highs that don't continue. And I have a bias now, since we've been doing our analysis of looking at the market from a buyer's standpoint a lot. And that can be dangerous. So I have to be even careful about that, because if I'm looking at it from anything from other than what the market is doing, I might be one of those people when this market starts coming down that is always looking for the buying opportunity, right? And because of that, you'll get into a buying opportunity too early, right? Too early. So these are just little things I'm looking at, and I spoke of it from the buying side. On the selling side, you still have the same types of hazards, because if the market is selling off, but at every juncture it looks as if it's not going to continue to sell off, that would mean that at particular points in the market there is buying activity even though the market is selling off. So you don't want to get caught up in that either, because that would mess up your timing in the trade, and you would lose because of timing, not because of the directional flow of the market. Hopefully that makes sense, but it'll all start making more and more sense as we go further along. All right? What else can we observe just that's going on in the market? The fact that this particular market in this area starts to crumble up lets me know that it's not that much stability possibly in the area, and that I want to wait to do any high tolerance trades, right? Any trades 5 minutes and under, right? I want to wait before I do any of that. When you usually have price movement of just a large price movement undeterred, usually the market will want to revisit those areas also, because it just doesn't want to give up all the space like that. That's just, the mechanics of how a market works. So the price went up all the way up here, bought all the way up. It'll be sellers all the way in this to bring it down. But as I said before, while it comes down, it's going to be trying to trap traders also in the up part of it, right? like as this is. Like this starts to make it look like the market is going to go down. You got this little up move right here. So this means people did buy here, right? People did buy there. They could just be taking profits out of the market, but I'm pretty sure some of the people are not taking just profits. Some of the people bought there believing that the market is getting ready to possibly turn around. Or they could be aggressive about buying there, believing that the market is going to turn around sometime very soon. And this will put them in the trade. So we'll go over a lot of different information as we continue. Just lots and lots of little tidbits, this, that. But you're gonna get the whole puzzle here. I'm gonna piece everything together actually for you. Right? See how we get the nice little drop coming to a historic line right here. Right? Historic line. This little blue dotted line. I placed that blue dotted line there some time ago because the market stopped there maybe on a Friday night. Right? That was the last place the market stopped. So I placed that blue line on the chart just to see how the market reacts to it once it comes back to it. And that particular blue line might have been in the chart for about a year or so. And as you see that the market still has a reaction to that line a year later. So that's why if you ever look at my chart, you'll see horizontal lines on there. They're memory lines, historic lines, remembered lines. They usually give me a visual, just a quick visual that I can look at to see the market really quickly. They don't always honor the lines. They're not always going to bounce off the line. They're not always even going to stall off the line. But the reaction to the line tells me a lot about what's going on in the market. A lot of times when you're looking at the market, instead of being aggressive and wanting to get into the market, the best action is to not want to get into the market. Not to get into the market. Just sometimes, most of the time, the best action is just to wait and watch until high probability events occur. When those don't occur, there's no reason to be in the market because everything that you're trying to do is going to be 50-50. And we don't really want 50-50 trades. We want trades that are higher than that percentage. We want high percentage trades. The lower percentage trades puts our accounts in jeopardy all the time. There's no other way to look at that. A lower probability trade will put your account at risk more than a high probability trade will. Like that's just, common sense type. But I know common sense, what it said. Grandma said common sense ain't common. Right? I'm gonna watch this. See what happens here. See if a level of support shows itself, or this turns into actually a resistance. See how these lines are pretty useful, so you could gauge reactions to it, right? If we look at that, that's almost about to say almost half our box, a little bit more than half, but our boxes today is pretty wide today. So this is probably like the halfway point, really, of the real price action in the box. But it's good to see this reaction here, because it just really lets us know what's going on with the market right now, right? If you see that, oh, this is an old historic line, and the market is stalling at that line, we know this is this type of behavior means that there's buyers and sellers relatively close on both sides, so we can gauge who is the dominant party, who has the most strength, by what goes on in this squabble right here, what goes on in this little fight right there. We can figure out who is more dominant in the market at this particular time, the present. But everything that we talk about requires the market to actually do it. Like, I can't say that the bulls actually just won this totally outright, but they did win it presently. They did win for the moment, right? After this moment, I gotta wait for confirmation the next moment to see if this is a continued win for them, if they are that dominant. Well, so I need to know, are they going to be dominant for how long? Can they be dominant for 30 seconds? Can they be dominant for 10 seconds? Can they be dominant for a minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, an hour? You see, this is all what's being displayed around these remembered lines, these lines on the outside of the box, are support and resistance zones that are called ERs and Rico's rifts, right? Those are special support and resistance zones that I actually map out. I'll show you how to do those. Those ERs and Rico's rifts that I call them, those ERs let you get very accurate price targets, all right? So that you don't look at the market for just any place to place trades ad hoc. When you place trades, you can place them at target areas that you know from before, which could be pretty helpful to you in planning your trade and planning your day ahead, right? Maybe you know that your target is all the way down here somewhere. Well, you know it's not going to immediately be, the price isn't going to immediately be down here. But we know while it's up here, I don't have to look at any of the behavior really. I'll wait till it gets down in the vicinity, and then I'll study it closely. All right? So I'll be fresh when the market gets to the area. Right now, the market pushing down, showing a lot of selling pressure on this line, maybe turning it into resistance, right? And that line was supported for a small period of time. Let's see if price closes below this line. It opened below the line. Let's see if it closes below this line also. The fact that if it opens and closes below the line, that's an added sense of confirmation that this price level will remain a possible resistant price level for the time being. See, Doesn't look like much enthusiasm from the bulls here, but you have to always wait and see though, right? Let me see what it just looks like on the 5 minute real quick. Okay. 5 minute looks like it's chopped it up a little bit. What Nadex doing? I haven't looked at Nadex in a minute, right? 29 is the word. 29 is what we would be looking at. And with 5 micro pips below, let me just bring up the ticket just so you can see what it looks like, what we're doing. What we still, you know, nothing changed. If you're looking, you know, for trades, we still do what we do. Look at, you know, each trade that comes through, if it's worthy to be considered. This is only 3 micro pips away, right? Even though it'll probably win, right? But it's only 3 micro pips away, so I'm not going to give you a trade like this to even look at, right? I don't want you to be shook up about it. But if you ask me to recommend you a trade, like Enrico, I really need a trade, I'll recommend you something like this, right? If you beg for it, right? Only if you beg for it though, because I don't want to put you in no trade that it even has a chance of, well, every trade has a chance of losing, but I only want to put you in this real high probability stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm really trying to convey here. So that would not be in high probability. See the market actually going against us right there at the 1 minute level. So look right there as we was talking about it. Price closed below it, right? Closed below it, and then started buying up. Now, what happens? Let's see what happens if price closes above the line now, right? And if price closes above the line, does it stay above the line and this line remain the support that it was, right? These are all just little points I like you gotta look at, and then all of this could mean actually nothing, right? And this line could just have no actual value at this time, but it has some type of value because it's notice that price is being repelled and attracted to it from both sides of the lines. That means there's buyers and sellers on both sides of this line pushing the market up and down, oscillating. You notice, you can see some buying going on, right? Little prices being bought up, right? In the early stages of prices being bought up. Who knows if they're going to continue to be bought up? As well as people are and do in the market, as good as I might see the market, I don't know the future at all. Not even a little bit. All we could do is look for high probability situations that we've seen enough times to recognize them as high probability situations. Most of the time, you're going to not know. If you are losing now, you're probably going to keep losing and find other people that are actually losing to teach you, because that's just how the numbers pan out. You know, you're very lucky if you actually find someone that knows the market and actually makes money in the market, actually studies the market, actually does it full time, and is willing to give you any amount of time at all, because it's a full-time job just trading for themselves. It's just full time looking at markets and to explain what your vision is and how you see it. It's difficult because most people don't have the discipline. The mind hates discipline and makes up all types of excuses not to stay disciplined. So it's very hard to show people how to trade properly because of it. It's kind of like trying to herd cats. They're all over the place, all the time. Even when after they've been given the correct formula of how to proceed, they'll still be all over the place, trying to do other things other than the formula that you have given them to proceed, to win with, right? But that's just people that were never satisfied. That's right from the beginning. Watching market got some quick movements I don't like. See something like that, I mean, then it goes up. You see, it gets that little pull away in the last seconds. You don't want to mess with all that. It's really not worth it. Like, you only think it's worth it if you've been at the computer too long and you're dying to get a trade in. That's the only time you think something like that's really worth it. Any other time, you know it's just a garbage trade. What's the market at? 31, 33. We've been keeping notes on certain price levels as the market has moved up and down. Those price levels that were noted are for our time compression analysis. So I'm actually just keeping track of certain price levels, writing them down manually. Got a Marvel composition notebook, writing them down manually so I can keep track of them. I believe these are going to help us pinpoint even more accurate forecasts with our DT online platform, or a traditional binaries platform. Because with our traditional binaries, we're going to need a level of being able to forecast where the prices will be, as opposed to just not what they're doing now, but what will they be doing in the future. When our levels were 3138, around this level, right? That was one of our points of interest, and that's why our magic box is right on that level, right there, 3136, right around that area, right? We were looking for, figuring that the price might stall in that area, so now we see how does it react. It stalls, it goes over the price of 3136 or whatever that price was there, right? Over the line. But we also know most breakouts are false breakouts, right? Most times the price won't break out. Not to say it will not break out this time or next time, but most times it's not. So we have to be, what's the word again, cautious and wait for confirmations to make any trades in this area now. Because remember, we said prices were high up here. now prices are even higher, right? Now, once it hits a line like this, it could change the sentiment in the market, meaning that everyone sees this price as a low price, and then a price all the way up here as a high price, right? All the way up to this mark as a high price, right? That can happen. And that does happen all the time. Change of sentiment, change in what some market institutions or policies of some government. Market easily could just come up here and be seen as up here as the high prices, and these be the low prices when these low prices used to be considered high, right? That's the fluctuation of the market and money.